All right, Sag, I think it's all about coming out of an experience that was not realistic, and now it's coming out of denial and it's coming back to reality. But I think a lot of you are coming back in a way that is going to be hard for somebody to hear, I think is the best way to put this. Your sensor is completely coming off here with truth be told, and you're going to be coming out of this going, hey, what the hell? And you're seeing it now for face value, coming out of denial. But I also feel like somebody's going to be told something that they may not like. When Sagittarius opens up with their communication, it is blunt and it is direct and it is to the point. There is no piddle farting around. There is no sugarcoating any bullshit. And believe me, I know, because I live with one. I know what that's like when Sag gets to that place. And I think that that's what's going to happen here. But I think that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that you just may have been in a place for far too long where things were not realistic for you. But now it's like, I'm coming back now. But now for some of you, though, that may still be a struggle, but we'll get into that. But first of all, such a curious dream, grounding, returning to reality, and coming home. One of the good points that this talks about is that you can create magical moments in your everyday life. You don't have to be in, unrealistic or extraordinary situations in order to have that kind of feeling every day, right? That's really up to you to make that happen. But it says, a time when work must be done. Eat well and prepare good meals. Make magic in everyday activities and ordinary moments. A return from an extraordinary experience, adventure, travel, or holiday. But truth be told is where the denial is being lifted and you're coming out of that and you're seeing something for face value. And it's not as dreamy as you may have thought or what you got caught up in. So now with this one, like I said, it talks about coming out of denial, but it also says honesty, accepting things at face value, the willingness to be transparent, and clarity of communication. But I think it's going to be completely unfiltered. And that's just my opinion looking at this and thinking about Sagittarius. It says this is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. That immediately stuck out to me like, oh shit. There is no more debating. It's almost like the Knight of Swords. I have this to say to you and you're going to fucking listen and that's it. I'm not debating with you anymore. I've come out of, this kind of illusion. It was great for a while, but now I'm kind of seeing you at face value, especially for those of you who are dealing with a person. But it says this is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Yeah, when Sagittarius gets honest, it's going to hurt. It is going to hurt. But I think that, this may have been a situation where you just can't stay in this place anymore of, everything is great. No, maybe it really isn't. But it's not necessarily bad, though, either. It's just finally seeing a situation for what it really is. Now, some of you, though, are not doing that. And again, this is only going to be for some of you. So, obsession. The moon phase here is waxing crescent, but the stage is denial. So immediately there are going to be Sagittarians that are going to be going, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not obsessed. And that may be true for some of you, right? But truth be told, it may be the case for somebody. Now, it says, there is nothing else that can replace my focus. The sentence says, all things lead to one. And then they disappear into one until only that one remains. And then going dark, we chase comets and mirrors and shadows. Sometimes we actually chase cars or myths. Obsession is a trick of our perception. Many become one, and that one bloats as to take everything else. It feels like it, whatever it is, an idea, a person, or an objective, flavors our life and gives meaning to it. As all the light through a lens, it converges on a single point, and that point goes ablaze under the greatest fire. But in truth, more than enacting our life, it numbs our attention to the rest. It makes us feel more awake by hiding the rest of the world under a cloud of slumber. Obsession is a drug. In small doses it whips, in big doses it kills. If we drown inside an obsession, we should close our eyes. We don't die in the darkness, we just fall asleep and then wake up more naturally. So, truth be told, some of you may be dealing with an obsession. Oh, wowza. Your overall, this is the extra card in this deck, Angel de la Nuit, or Angel of the Night. This is about coming out of the dark now. You have been in the darkness about what is going on around you, but now the light is kind of like shining on everything. So this is you coming out of like your darkest hour, your darkest moments, things where situations have not been clear, right? But it's interesting. I rarely get to see this, but it's your overall in this case. It's amazing. Now in the past, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So I look at that and I think that this may be a past situation that you're going to go through again, right? Now, on the other hand, the fates, right? The fates holding the yarn, right? And I look at this and I think this is about a situation that, you know, maybe you're kind of meant to experience here, but it's whether or not you feel like you have control over what happens. Because like I always say, right? Like, I understand situations that feel fated and like it was meant to happen, but that's always a good thing. You always look at that as a really good thing. Not, I was fated to go through bullshit. No, that turns into, this is just shit happening to me. You know, which is why I say with the wheel here that, you know, are you in control of your fate and what's happening? Or do you feel like it's just the same shit repeating itself? But I look at this as the past and think this is something that may be coming back around. You know, but is it going to go the same way, or is it going to change this time? Is fate actually working in your favor for this, right? Okay. In the present, the Five of Cups. So you may have given something or someone a second chance. That's kind of what I feel like looking at this. But it's only because you have been in the dark about the way that you feel, especially with the Five of Cups, and then looking at the Angel of the Night being the overall. But you're coming out of this now. But the thing is that you're still looking at being disappointed and being let down and dealing with these difficult emotions. You know, so it may be one of those things where you're not allowing this to have a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth chance anymore. Ooh, future conditions, the Five of Swords. Damn, man. This is, I feel like for you, not wanting to get caught up in another, you know, battle here, you know, picking your fights, picking your battles, but not wanting to get involved anymore with a situation with somebody who is just looking to take advantage of you. Which can be the case with the Five of Swords, because you're definitely talking about somebody who is trying to get one up over on you. But again, it is the no-win situation here. But a lot of times this could be about somebody who's been trying to force their point of view on you, or, you know, their agenda. That, or devaluing you and what you have to say. Which is why it's such, you know, extreme miscommunication and fighting. But rather than getting angry here, I think with the Angel of the Night being your overall, it's like, I'm tired of being in this place. I'm tired of being in this place of having to communicate with somebody like this, who just does not take into consideration anything that I have to say and doesn't really care about the way that, you know, they're affecting me by what they say. And now it's like the light is starting to shine. And you're not allowing yourself to be in this place of emotional hurt anymore. And I feel like for some of you, it may be you getting pissed. And again, going back to the filter coming completely off. But it's deserved in this case. If this is happening to you. And I do believe that that is the case, because in the present moment, you're already dealing with difficult emotions and being let down and disappointed. Your best path to follow, the Emperor. I look at that and I think that it's time for you to take back control. Okay, and it's not about being stubborn in the way that you do things. Okay, so, you know, it's not being forceful or needing to watch that. I look at this as your advice and think that you really need to get control over this situation now and stop allowing somebody else to have that control. Or allow, you know, a difficult situation to have control over you. But I do believe that for a lot of you, this is going to be dealing with a person here. And you may have given them chance after chance after chance after chance. I mean, that is basically how I feel about this. But I do think, like I said, with the Emperor, it's you kind of like laying down the law now and taking back that control in your life. Rather than somebody being allowed to kind of say whatever they want to say to you. That's not happening anymore. In your environment, the Eight of Swords. Now, as far as that being connected to your present moment, that makes sense to me, because for a lot of you, it's like, I don't see how there is any other way. Because you're talking about the thoughts that are keeping you stuck in a situation, right? And you're not seeing the clear way out, and that's because of the emotional disappointment that's connected to it. But again, you're coming out of this long period of darkness now. And that light is shining on all of this. And I think that for you, it's almost like, I'm not going to get involved with this anymore. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I see it now. I'm finally coming out of the dark. But in your present moment, for a lot of you, you may be stuck with the difficult emotions surrounding somebody being an asshole that, like I said, you've given chance after chance with. But the Eight of Swords, one of the things that I point out with this one is the horns, right? Those thoughts are like the damn devil. And they keep you trapped. And it's funny how it ties in with like the devil and the Nine of Swords almost for me. But for a lot of you, it's just, I just don't see a way through this. I don't see a way through this. But the person that you're dealing with and the way that they react may cause the breakthrough. I think. Especially if they're acting like a dick, with the Five of Swords being there. And that's just me being honest. Oh yeah. Your hopes and your fears, death. It has to change. It has to change, and you have to change. And you have to change in your response to dealing with this person or this situation. With death, there's no going back. But it is about personal transformation once you come out of the dark. And that light starts to shine on the things that you've been allowing to have happen to you over and over again. But with death, the fear there is that things will never go back to what they were, which may have been a hell of a lot better than what you're experiencing now. But this person, and this could be anybody in your life here, but whoever this person is for some of you, they are not worth your time anymore. They just continuously cause problem after problem. But there is a part of you that I feel like thinks that this is a pattern that you have to stay in as far as where your present moment is at. But I think that, again, this is just the present moment, with this, again, being the overall, though, the light breaks through on all of that. And with death, it is a very deep and personal transformation that you are going into right now. And I love, the Dia de los Muertos type of feel here. Because it is honoring the death that you're going to go through and honoring the transformation of who you are, But it definitely, this cycle is something that needs to be over with. Oh my goodness. And then coming out the Hangman. And you know what though? The thing is I don't really feel that bad about it. I don't think that it's about you not taking action. It's definitely showing inaction, but I think that the first step here is to change your perspective. So putting yourself in a place where I need to start changing my view on that, especially given the fact that we're looking at the Five of Cups connected to the Eight of Swords. And you needing to get back in control over what is going on and stop, allowing yourself to be in this place of not understanding, being in the dark about everything, not letting the light shine through on this because you would rather believe that, things can get better, but it's the same shit. That's what I feel like looking at this. But the Hangman coming out is you changing the perspective on you and the way that you respond to this and the way that you get involved and what you allow to have control over you, or who for that matter. And there you are with Temperance. And that is you, like I said, not getting involved anymore. So here's how I kind of see this. The Queen of Cups. Now, this could definitely be because of a person that you're dealing with, male, female, doesn't matter, water sign possibly. But then again, you know, I mean, as far as that goes, you have Aries, but then you also have Scorpio showing up. But beyond that, I look at that as, with the Wheel of Fortune, a part of you that has been emotionally attached to a person or a situation, and you continue to let it play out the same way over and over and over again. So with the Queen of Cups here, it's being reflected back at you now. You are seeing the reflection of yourself in the way that you have allowed yourself to be emotionally tied to a situation that is belittling to you. And that is the best way for me to put it, with that Five of Swords being there. But your perspective changes in a way where there's more wisdom and enlightenment and understanding. But you are like almost accepting responsibility that it was because of your giving emotional nature that led you to this point of being emotionally devastated and being in a place where you feel like nothing is going to move forward. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same shit again. But this is the aha. That light finally breaks through and you finally see that truth, and God damn it, you're speaking it. Holy shit. Right? But you're also being a little bit reserved. You know, with Temperance here again, it's, you're not getting involved with this. You're changing your perspective. There is no point in engaging this person or situation anymore. It is about your own equilibrium and balance now. Right? I'm not going to test the waters with this anymore. I'm taking back control. But this is definitely a situation that is going to change you beyond, you know, what you are expecting looking at death. You're not going to ever be able to go back to who you were. What I would say to that, though, is be careful about how, you know, you change to a point where you'll never be the Queen of Cups again. She doesn't always get taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So I worry about that a little bit, but I'm hopeful with Temperance, but I'm also more hopeful with the Hangman. You know, and this really may be somebody being pissed off because they can't keep you in the dark anymore, and you're choosing not to act in the way that they want you to. And that may be what is happening here. But I think a lot of you are done. You're done with being in this place of letting emotional devastation keep you stuck with the thoughts of everything that has been going on. You know, but nothing has changed. Nothing has changed with this situation or this person that you may be dealing with. I don't know what the hell is going on with these fucking readings this week, but man, you guys are getting fucking deep. An obsession with the Queen of Cups makes sense to me. You know what happens, right? We get emotionally invested. We get tied. The heart wants what it wants. But she, more than the king, is easily taken advantage of. And some of you may absolutely feel that way and feel like there's a part of you that is so connected to this that you felt like for a long time that you've had to do this over and over again, chance after chance, right? And psychic knowing. Nice, nice. Okay, so first of all, the first thing that I got with gratitude is gratitude is so important, right? It's always so important to be grateful for the good things that you have in your life, because that is what creates more. That's what brings more into your life. But in this case, I feel like what I want to tell you is that you need to be grateful even for the bad experiences, because you are seeing now how that has made you act in the past and now who you are becoming. Play is saying that, you know, thank you for showing me this lesson learned. I'm going to enjoy my life. Fuck off, right? You need to be able to enjoy your life. You need to give yourself a moment of play. And psychic knowing, this is you getting back in tune with that ability to see things for what they are and know deep down, and trusting that intuition and trusting that psychic knowing. It's amazing. I love it. I think it looks great, you know, despite the fact of what you may be dealing with. But what I would say to you is that this person does not deserve any more second chances, especially if they're going to act like a dick, right? So thank you. Lesson learned. I'm going to go enjoy my life, and I'm going to start trusting my intuition and what I know. Finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source and psychic knowing. Yes, yes, there's going to be a breakthrough. You're going to get back to a place where you are more in tune with yourself and your emotions. Wow, Sag, you guys are going to have to let me know on this. And like I always say, right, these are general messages. Whoever is meant to hear this, you will know that this is your situation. But it makes so much sense to me that we're looking at Angel of the Night as the overall here, and you have such a curious dream. But like I said, I think that you come out in a place where the filter is off and the truth is told. But I also feel like you're going to put yourself back in a place where you're no longer going to test the waters, right? Because I kind of see that with Temperance and with you. But it's also about, getting back to that place of equilibrium, and not getting involved anymore, right? There's no point in engaging this person in this situation, like I said. But there is a breakthrough at hand here, absolutely. And you're opening back up to that spiritual source. It's perfect. It's perfect, Sag.